Okay, well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome, and thank you for joining me tonight on the late one spills. Let me just get this light here. It's a bit light, it's a bit green, brown. It's like me, like in New York City, big city of dreams. Years ago, those lights, which is there. But anyway, I want to say good evening to you, those on Instagram, those on Facebook, those on YouTube, but primarily on YouTube. Um, it's a great evening, 15th of December 2021. And one of the things that I wanted to just greet everybody in the wonderful and beautiful day, and just want to have this conversation, which I sometimes come on at different times, and just to talk, yeah. But most importantly, um, I was thinking today, and I said, let me just come on and do a live. I was thinking on something today, and one of the things I was thinking about, hi, how are you, Michelle? I was thinking this, that in how things are going on now, in light of the Omicron, the vaccine, and the way how things are moving now, everybody has an agenda. Yeah, everybody has an agenda. Everybody is on a quest in order to actually show what they're about. Everybody's on a quest to focus on their vision, the things that they want to see of it. And I was thinking that everybody's pushing fear. Everybody is pushing fear in some way. And when I say fear, is that there's fear of taking something, and there's fear of not taking something. And it's like the world or people are caught right into this middle, right? Caught right into this middle of not wanting to upset the upper crust, not wanting to upset the lower crust, not wanting to upset their body. And they don't know who to really believe, who to really trust, if you know what I'm saying. Who should I trust? That is what they're saying. Who should I really believe? That's the key thing. Who? And I don't know if everybody can actually say that I know who I should believe. I should know who I should not believe. And and I think at this time, one of the things that we all have to work out is, what is it that we believe? It's not like I'm going around in circles, but what we believe is going to be crucial. Yeah. I see that you're live on Facebook. What's going on here? Live on Facebook, meaning to say that I'm live on everywhere. I've got a system whereby I'm live on Facebook, I'm live on YouTube, I'm live on Instagram, but I'm focusing a lot on the YouTube as much as possible. You know, and the Prime Minister is on a quest to for the whole nation to be jabbed. He said to the Labour Party that while they vacillate, he vaccinate. And he said he's a jabber. That they're a jabber while he jabs. And the Omicron is out there. And the Omicron is something which we need to behold and to recognize that this is something which is very serious. And as a person who is an advocate of positivity and an advocate of not pushing agendas which I cannot back and which I cannot substantiate, one has got to make sure that we are not also pushing fear to take it, or pushing fear not to take it. Because it is, and everyone has to decide what is best for them. But how do you know what is best for you without scientific evidence? Some people are considered to be pure blood. Pure blood means to say that they have never been touched. They've never been tested. They're totally pure blood. All right. And they are proud of the fact that they are pure blood. You know, And I believe this thing is going to go around. But the other thing in regarding the news, and I'm just speaking casually, and if anybody want to join me, you can speak casually as well or share their views casually, is that people say you're going to lose out on your Christmas. You're not going to have your Christmas. Christmas is going to go. Christmas is going to go on. And I'm saying to myself, how can Christmas be canceled? How can your Christmas be canceled? So therefore, there's a lot of words. We are living in this world where there's words which are coming out at different points, every juncture. Words, words that say that um, quarantine, words that say that you isolate, words that say that you shield, words that say that you quarantine. I think I've said that before: isolate, shield, and all those things. Isolate, all of those things, and all those different words are used in a way to somewhat control people. I think so. To control people to think a particular way. And right now, all the news stations, especially in the UK, saying the same thing. And I found this very interesting. I found this very interesting what a Conservative MP said. A Conservative MP said who voted against mandating vaccines for the National Health Service or for persons within the health service, as the votes which took place yesterday. 101 or so Conservative MPs abstained. Labour Party members, they supported the government, and in order for the government to pass this particular bill for Plan B. And one MP said this, and I taped him, and I don't think I have it, but I taped him, and he said this, that I rather to be with the losers, because there are many people out there who have a voice and they seem what to be voiceless. Yes, those persons seem to be voiceless in the fact that nobody's speaking up for them. And I was listening further, ladies and gentlemen. I was listening further to the reporters, and they were challenging the Prime Minister by saying, can't you see that the rebels are actually challenging your status as a leader? You cannot control your MPs. You cannot control your party. In fact, that 90 to 100 of them have actually rebelled. And I thought about it, and I look at it in a different way by saying, no, they haven't rebelled. They're actually exercising their democratic right based on the fact that they have a constituents and they have got to vote accordingly. I believe anything to do with mandatory things and vaccines also need to be something of the conscience. It must be a conscience thing and not just be something whereby you follow a party line. Maybe Labour did that, but I put kudos to those Conservative MPs who stood their ground and said, those persons who are fair, those persons who are actually saying, I'm concerned, those persons who are saying, I don't like mandating things, even though I'm double jabbed and all those sort of things. They said, we have to give those persons a voice in Parliament. You know what I'm trying to say? We have to give those persons a voice in Parliament. They must recognize that they also have a voice, because it is not about the Prime Minister, right, wheeling the party into a particular line, telling the party what they have to do, saying that this is how I can show that I have my authority. I think it is great. I think it is great that the Prime Minister had these persons within their own party structure that said, no, and I'm going to vote against it and against it and against it more and more often. Because there's got to be some level of semblance of sanity. We can't all be going down a particular route. And what compounds this is the fact that Nigeria and other countries in Africa are now off the red list. Yes, the red list is the list whereby if they come into the UK, they have got to quarantine for 10 days. And for those 10 days that they quarantine, ladies and gentlemen, they have got to fork out £2,285 or so. And they get some crap food, right? they're in this place whereby their human rights or whatever like that is quarantined, or they cannot actually do things that they want to do. And guess what? They took off Nigeria off the red list today. What about those £2,285 that those people have paid? Right? So it's all over the place. And I just think that there need to be these level of conversation. And these conversations must not be, what should I say, be deemed to be something whereby if you choose not to go down a particular route, you're deemed to be an anti person of a certain nature. And if you go down a particular route, you're supposed to be zombified or part of the zombification, as some will say. And I've got to also check myself as if to say, am I also spewing out this level of fear? Because there are so many persons with the agendas, right? You got persons who just particularly push a particular party line, push an anti-vax line, or other person who push a vax line. And by virtue of that, when it comes together, it is a massive confrontation. So the question is, where is the middle ground? Because I believe this very strongly. I believe that if a person take the vaccination, right, in fairness to themselves, and believe that this is the right thing for them to do, I believe that the God Almighty above will protect them and keep them safe, right, if that is what they want. I believe that if a person who genuinely believe that this is not for them and they want to be pure blood and they don't want to be touched and they don't want to be scared, then God will protect them as well, right? But one thing that I'm totally against is mandatory things, forcing people. Because guess what? Even in hospitals, when persons go to hospital and they are to be treated, and if they have a level of sanity, and the person say, I'm going to do this, they have a right to choose and to say, I don't want this to be done to me. I will suffer the consequences. It is just like when you're advising a client in a legal situation, and you say to the client, if you go A, these are the possibilities, this is what may happen, this is what the judge may say, and you may lose. If you go B, you may lose again, but might not be that worse. So therefore, you got these two options, A or B. There could even be a C. And then a person have the choice to decide. And I believe that when it comes to a point whereby we are in an era, in a zone, in a time like this, whereby choices are walked over and people are actually being zombified, and they are told what to do if they don't do that, then I believe we're going down a precipice. And I believe that with the mandatory of the NHS staff, and even though the health secretary, and even though they're saying this is not a vaccine passport, I would say it is a start of something of a slippery slope, ladies and gentlemen. It's a slippery slope. And those are my comments, and that is what I wanted to think about. But I don't want to be one of the persons that is pushing this level of fear, okay? Fair in the sense that always on one particular narrative, okay? So we've got to, without a doubt, think about ourselves. And for Christmas, have a great Christmas. Yeah, Christmas cannot be cancelled just because you can't go to a party. Christmas cannot be cancelled just because the government says so or there's a lockdown. That's not how Christmas cancelled. What is Christmas to you? Christmas in the heart, Christmas for the family. Think about that, right? And as what Michelle said, it should always be country over party. So you've got to actually give kudos to the, what should I say, the Labour Party. Because the Labour Party, actually, what the Labour Party said, they said that when persons say, hey, you, Labour Party, you actually propped up the Conservative government. Where's your level of independence? And I always laugh when I hear reporters come out with these crap, because the Labour Party actually, and some of the members said, well, actually, we put country first. Right? Just like when an MP says, listen, I abstain, or I chose not to vote with the government with this particular bill, and then the reporter or the journalist will say, what sort of prime minister you have that you can't follow him? And the MP was said, actually, the Prime Minister is a very good Prime Minister. But that doesn't mean to say I agree with everything the Prime Minister says. And I totally believe in the democratic process, whereby there are persons who have a view and they have got to have a voice in the House of Parliament, in the House of Commons. And that is appropriate. So, therefore, it has nothing to do with the credibility of the Prime Minister. It has nothing to do whether his leadership is in question. It is about the free reign of members of Parliament to be able to choose and to decide how to vote on something of this level of importance. It was just like Brexit, right? Everyone had a free reign, a free way how to choose, how to vote. And there are many different conscience votes what's happening. Conscience votes when it comes on to vaccine and mandatory things, got to be a free vote. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I wanted to say today. And I just want to touch base on the late one spills. And thank you. And tomorrow night, join me on In Review. Going to be is it our last show? I don't think it's going to be our last show for the year. I think our last show, it could be our last show for the year on In Review. But this Saturday will be our last show on Talk and Sip. And next year is going to be greater. I'm going to put Talk and Sip exclusively on YouTube because we keep getting shut down at different times when interesting discussions take place. And when we get shut down, we lose the footages of that. So without further ado, that's it for tonight. The late one spills.